definitely one day technology will be remain secondary, pedagogy will come up, and teachers will be confident to use different tools as per their using their creativity. Yeah.
It is like it's like teachers' decision prerogative to decide as to in a classroom. It's and when they teach in the normal face-to-face, it is for them to design. So similarly in online, they can also design, and then if designing is once done, then using in delivery and the strategies to reach. Even some people, when the learners are not responding, then they also have these WhatsApp groups, they have these Telegram groups, and then if they don't call individually, they'll ask the peer learner to call. What has happened? That is why you make small groups.
Yeah.
So that there is a connect.
So those teachers accustomed with physical classrooms, they have their hesitation, but I think once they get the full, art and science of online learning, then definitely they translate their digital, forum to, physical forum to digital forum very successfully. And then now, after going through many webinars and participating different this kind of workshop, I am also getting confidence to now at least that reservation that teachers' existence will be under threat. That thing is now actually not any valid ground. I think teachers is the mind. Technology is only tools, nothing more than that, and it is teachers. In physical classroom, you should be creative. And digital also, you should be creative by using different tools or integrating different tools.
Right. And I think with these, this kind of opportunities and the MDPs and a lot of training and capacity building programs, the fear of technology will go away.
Yes, yes. That is the
primary hesitancy, and then because what is happening is the learners are much more equipped with the technology know-how. And it is the teachers who have gone into technology. That is what we call digital natives and digital migrants. So being migrants, we are not confident enough to to take it up. But then once this hesitation will go, I think and, people have really taken up well. They are doing well in this remote COVID times. The way people have taken up to the online teaching, learning on their own, asking each other and learning on their own. So that is peer learning. If you see that connectivism in peer learning, it is being exhibited out of the classroom in the faculty learning also.
Yes,
in fact, once I had to do this Facebook Live.
Yes.
So I saw some tutorials on YouTube. Then after that, I knew of a colleague who was doing a lot of Facebook Live. Then I called him up. Then we met on Meet, Google Meet, because that is free for us.
Yes.
So we met, and then he was telling me, madam, you can go this way. And since I had already seen the YouTube videos, the certain concepts, the certain terminologies like scene creation and then elements in the scene were clear to me. Because I had already seen YouTube. At the same time, since he was doing it, he was telling me what not to do. So these things, we are each learning from each other.
Yes, yes. That's true.
So as we say.
Yeah. Indrani. Hello, Indrani. Indrani.
Yes, I'm there. Hello, Nishadi.
Hello, how are you?
Fine.
Okay.
Our anchor is not well today physically, but still, Dr. Indrani, our powerhouse.
Many of the participants have joined, so I don't want to show myself unwell, and I request Pranam Suikia not to announce anymore.
You are looking touchwood. You are looking fresh.
Yes.
Thank you. It is only for water because I have given water in my hair. Thank you so much. Our Devjani Dwara, she is also there.
Yes. I think in any we can start.
Yeah, I think she's there.
Yes, now 2:30. We should start.
Yes. We can start.
Yes, yes.
Am I audible? Indrani, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay. Shall we start?
It's okay from my side.
Okay.
We can start. We can start.
Okay. Yeah. A very good afternoon to everyone. Okay. A very good afternoon to everyone. On behalf of Surya Kumar Bhuya, School of Social Sciences, Krishnakanta Hondiko State Open University, I, Devojani Dora, welcome you all to the last day of the 3-day online international workshop on Design, Develop, and Implement Effective Online Teaching. We are very happy to have with us today Dr. Nisha Singh as the resource person for this technical session. Welcome, ma'am, to this technical session. Dr. Nisha Singh is working as Deputy Director, Research and Development, Inter-University Consortium for Technology-Enabled Flexible Education and Development. Dr. Singh joined Indira Gandhi National Open University in 2009 as a program officer in Distance Education Program, Sarva Shiksha Abhijan. Before joining IGNOU, she was working as Associate Professor in Faculty of Education and Allied Sciences, MJP Rohil Khan University, Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh. She has a long classroom teaching experience as a teacher educator of nearly 16 years in various teacher training institutions. She has published a book entitled Development of Monastic Education in India, and to her credit, there are more than 20 articles and papers in various books and journals. Her areas of specializations are e-learning, online learning, instructional designing, education of exceptional children, and ICT applications in education. She worked as a resource person in various training programs and workshops organized by IGNOU and other educational institutions. Today, Dr. Singh is going to give her presentation on the topic, which is titled Online Learner Learning Assessment and Course Evaluation Strategies. I would like to request all the esteemed participants to kindly mute their mics before the presentation starts. I also request them to type their questions or queries, if any, in the chat box, which will be answered by the speaker after the end of the session. Now I would like to request Nisha Madam to kindly take over the session. Over to you, Nisha Madam.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be amongst like people so close to us. We have been coming physically. I have been to the university. I'm thankful to the Pranabji also. I'm thankful to the Vice Chancellor sir also. And thankful to all the colleagues who are there. I think this is one of the ways by which we reduce the distance. It has given us an opportunity, the COVID times, to interact more, learn from each other more, and get stimulated as to what should be the educational scenario, our own take to that, our own contribution to that. So in this, when COVID struck the whole world, and we were in lockdown, there was immediate switching over from face-to-face to online education for the face-to-face universities. The open universities like yours and mine, we were already into technology, using technology quite a lot to reach our learners. Whether it was the printed technology, whether it was the other ways of technology, we were trying to bridge that distance. And I think that is why that helped us to be to go ahead in these times also, and use more and more technology, build our capacities to integrate technology in our teaching and learning in other dimensions of education, which we do. Basically, what we see around is a remote response to the online learning. As Dr. Sharma also said on the first day, and Professor Kandrappa sir also said on the first day, that this is this is remote response to the online teaching. Online teaching is much more than that. Online teaching is much more than synchronous, about which you discussed yesterday. Dr. Ajit has told you a lot of synchronous tools, like there are tools available like Jitsi, there is tool available like the Google Meet, GeoMeet, and so many are there. So, but when we talk about online education, it is much more than that. That is asynchronous activities also. Like you have discussion forums for bridging the interaction or the bridging the distance gap among the learners and the teachers. So then assessment is another quadrant which is there, about which I'll be talking in detail a little while from now. So all these have to be an integral part of online education, online teaching and learning. And for the past 2 days, you have been listening to different resource persons who have made a mark in the field of online education, online teaching and learning. What is the range of the tools available was discussed, what is how to manage your classroom, and everything was there. So the next and the most important aspect of online or any educational activity is the assessment. How will we know as to whether what we have designed and delivered, implemented to the learners, whether they have received it in the right way or not? So that has to be decided, and that is an integral part of the education process. In fact, we will say that it is one of the important pillars of education, and very sacrosanct also. We have to do assessment very carefully, and that is why you see there is a lot of deliberation by the UGC, by the MHRD. Even Supreme Court is having a hearing as to why online education should be there, which way online education should be there. There is a lot of opposition also, a lot of pressure also, a lot of ways people are trying to devise that assess. Why can't we do away with assessment? Because it's very, very integral to the education process. If we do away with assessment, we will not know as to what the learner has learned during the session which we had or which we arranged for them. So having said that, we'll talk about assessment. And before talking, I'll share my screen. And let me share my screen. This is my screen. And I think it's visible. I'll be talking about broadly the online assessment and evaluation, assessment of the learners and the evaluation of the course. So this is broadly the topic, and then we'll go ahead. We will try it first. So I hope all of you have your systems with you or mobile with you. Please get hold of it, ready with your system or the mobiles. We will just do a online exercise. This is one of the platforms which we can use for online assessment of learners. So you have been talking about we have been talking about online teaching and learning for the past 2 days. So let us see how much you have grasped, how much you remember. You must have grasped, but how much you remember. So I have a quiz here. So we will play it. How will we play it? Let's continue. We'll play the basic game, the basics of the game. So please go to this site, joinmyquiz.com. Use your mobile, use your laptop, any system, your tab, your Mac, your Windows, any system. And once you go there to this site, joinmyquiz.com, please enter the code 646105. 646105. Please. I request all the participants, all my fellow colleagues, to go to this, open their device, open their mobile. And if you're on the desktop, just minimize the window and then open another tab and just type joinmyquiz.com, and it will prompt you to enter a game code. So once you are prompted, then just type in 646105. I just wanted to give you an experience as to these techniques can be easily used for assessing in the classroom. And then as I was listening to one of these webinars and people were deliberating about, even CBSE has done, they have done away with some of their exams, and what they have done is the formative assessment they had done. First one has joined, great. Two have joined, right, good. So what they have done is they have done away with that summative and then they are giving weightage to the formative assessment by the school. So with this online situation, which was forced on us, it was unprecedented, we take into stock as to what were the ways we were using for assessment. Are there any alternative ways for assessment? And why can't we give more weightage to the formative assessment? In fact, I would like to share, while we are waiting for others to join, 10 have joined, I'll share my experience. I have done my B.Ed from Delhi University, University of Delhi. CI, we call it, Central Institute of Education, which is the Department of Education. But when we were doing a B.Ed, like in most of the universities, I found there was always a final teaching exam. Like the students used to teach throughout the year, but there was a final teaching exam where they had to go to the school and teach the class, and some external examiner used to come and assess. And that is the norm in most of the universities. It is like a summative assessment. Whereas in our institution from which we have done it, we did not have a summative assessment. We had these round of like there was a normal mentor or the teacher was assigned to us who used to watch us into our schools, small groups, 10 to 12, 8 to 10. And then there were rounds of people were external, not external outside the institute, but the other teachers of the faculty, they used to come and assess us. So there were 3 or 4 rounds, and then they used to come together in a board and then discuss the marks of each one of them in those rounds and the normal which the teacher has given, the normal teacher mentor has given, and then we used to come to an average. So we had, if I'm giving an example, that was a formative assessment recognized at that particular, I did my B.Ed way back in last century. Okay, so it was, I think it was 1991 or 2 I did my B.Ed. So imagine at that time also there was more into formative assessment. So now the trend with the online, there should be an equal emphasis on the formative assessment, if not more, than the summative assessment. And the summative assessment, there can be ways of having summative assessment. We'll just talk about it. So having said that, let's just start. There are 22 people, good number. So I'll just start the game. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now you have questions, just answer them. So Nabankar ji is there, Shruti is there, Amit Dhar, Abhijit, Bhuvan, Pallavi, and then there are people. So now first question is the right question. As a teacher, I can see that it is the right answer. Right? So I can see question wise also. Asynchronous is this, then this is a poll to have answered. So now the scoring is also there. Now there's a jury has 1770 points, Nabankar has 1710 points, Amit has caught up with 1620 points. So a lot of excitement you can have. So these can be your classroom also, like to bring a novelty in your teaching and learning. So you can have a poll. Say if you're going on a new topic, then you can have a poll you can have this kind of assessment to know as to how much the learners know and build your teaching and learning on that. Or you can have it as a part of your once you finished your module, as a part of your formative. That is, we say that assessment for learning. We use 2 terms: assessment of learning, which is more of like summative assessment as to whether you have learned or not. Assessment of learning, and there's an assessment for learning, which is that you are assessing so that learning improves, learning for learning. So this can be used for assessment for learning, formative assessments. So you can see the highest score is by Nabankar. Then Omar has come up. Good. Jury, backup. So you can have these. So some people are still to initiate the quiz. I may be having some problem with their system. why I'm saying some problem or some issue with the system is we must realize that these are tools and technology. So you have to familiarize. Otherwise, what will happen is there will be advantages and disadvantages. So when you are teaching, when you are doing these assessment techniques for your learners, and this is a part of their final score, like their continuous comprehensive evaluation, you must give them practice. Don't use a system or a technology about which they are not familiar with. So that is why, you know, for Delhi University is having a lot of mock tests because they are going in for open book exams for their final year students. So they are having a lot of mock tests. And since there is a case going on in Supreme Court has asked them to put in their report as to what was the result of the mock test, because on the social media, people were having both views. Some were appreciating, some were criticizing. So that doesn't give you a true picture. So we'll start with the system thing. I'll end the game. Apologies to those who were not able to finish. The first is Nabankur. Then the second is thoroughly, and the third is Omar. So this kind of things you can have. Then you can know about you can review questions. So in the first questions, most of them gave the right answer. That is 16 players gave the right answer. There were few like one player gave, so maybe most of them, and these participants or these students were like, you have to see as to who did that, who gave the wrong answer, and then maybe you can tell them as to this is not the right answer. This is the poll. Is online teaching easier than face-to-face teaching? 7 said yes, 8 said no, 3 said can't say. So it's a very close tie. But my experience, I can say no, it is not, because online teaching is almost 24/7 job. Even if you can make it 12/7 job also, but then generally it is because every time a learner is curious, you have to answer the its queries, right? And their problem has to be solved. So even if they're in distance, you have right in the beginning, you have to say, okay, every question will be, I'll try to answer all the questions within 12 hours or within 24 hours. So in those 24 hours, you will have to find time to do it. Synchronous online teaching strategies, only 2 said that it's this Jitsi, rest did not say. So this is something which I'll have to deal in the class, or maybe in my next online or synchronous class. I'll see that if this information is again told to the learner. So this is assessment for learning. Online education is successful when learners are, so most of them have done that. So maybe in between I can use. So all this data, all this I can use it for improving my teaching and learning, for improving the learning of the learners I have, so that there are no gaps. See this one, which is not an animation tool. VUE, this is visual understanding environment. So this is basically a graphic tool. We use it for making concept maps. It's an open source, but these all are animation softwares. So this is like, I was just giving you the examples of this. So I'll just stop this, and this is how I have the data. Right? And this can also be emailed to all parents. We don't do it in our higher education, yes, but if it's at the school level, or if we have more involvement by the parents, even in the higher education, I don't think so there's anything wrong in that. But since it's not done, we accept that that is the right thing. But involvement of the parents is not bad at any stage of education. So we can even email it to the parents. So, or if you want to play again, we can play again. Review questions we already did. So let us exit from here. So this was just an example. So I'll just tell you how to make quiz also. Quizzes. So we have tried this. Then when we talk about the online education scenario, there was a report by KPMG and Google in 2016. They came up that the business is going to increase in online education in India. In 2016-17, it was it was 246 million US dollars. In 2000, near to 2021, it will be around 2000 million US dollars. So that was the kind of the jump they were anticipating. But with the COVID times, it is much more than that. Even if you see the time duration, Swayam Prabha, and then the NTA, the rise of NTA. NTA has taken you have these NEET tests, JEE exams, all those are done through NET. So there was bound to be, and especially in these 5 major areas, they anticipated that in the primary and secondary education, which is like Baiju and Vedantu, these apps are there and people are using in lieu of the coaching classes they have, like they have for their children. So it will not be the mainstay in primary and secondary education, but it will be like supplemental education. Then you have your test preparation, like you have these mock tests for say NEET, mock test for JEE, mock test for your the NET exams and all that. So test preparation, preparing for tests, reskilling and online certification. Now what we are doing, we are trying to reskill ourselves, which I did in 2010 when I got interested in online education, and I had there was an availability of course called PGDEL, postgraduate diploma in e-learning. So I reskilled myself through online education. Similarly, I did another course from Open University Malaysia. So that was a master's course. So I was reskilling myself through the online. Similarly, Swayam, you are trying to gain credit. I see on the Facebook a lot of people that Coursera had offered free courses, free certification in this COVID times. So we have done this course. We are going in for online certification. The moment we give this recognition in our say promotion for teachers, in the careers of the learners, it really helps. Especially I've come to know that in engineering, people keep on doing courses from NPTEL, courses from Coursera, Udacity. So, and that has weightage that they are sort of lifelong learners. They are reskilling themselves. So and they cannot leave their job. One cannot leave one's job. One cannot leave sometimes one's family also at times. So this online education is a big savior if we want to reskill ourselves, right? And online education, don't think that in online education we cannot give skills, we cannot give. You have to design it like that. See, if we want to teach some skill, then say suppose language acquisition, so it can be very nicely done through online education. That is, a teacher pronunciation is there, you are recording the session, a learner can repeat it again and again and again and again, learn the pronunciation, record it on an audio, send it to the teacher. Teacher will see that it is like whether the pronunciation is right or not. If it needs to be corrected, he or she will tell, this is corrected, this is the correct one, kindly correct it, send another file. So online has helped. So that is why, this is for teaching and learning. And then higher education, of course, we are seeing the presence. And then language and casual learning. If I want to learn Assamese, I'll just go to Bolo app, and there will be I can learn Assamese from, I know Hindi and English, so I can learn Assamese from there. And for a person who is from Assam can learn Gujarati. So there are so many apps and sites available which are encouraging the language learning, and that is free for everyone. You don't have to pay for that. In most of the cases. Then casual learning. If you want to learn something, you go in for YouTube and then you learn. See, as I was just discussing with Pranabji before that, said I wanted to learn how to do Facebook Live. Well, how do we stream it? Because we can do Facebook Live just like that. Just switch it on and then have your mobile or your system, and then just Facebook Live. But if you want to present a screen, right, then also Facebook Live has that feature. But if you want to have yourself as well as the screen, then you need to have a streaming software, about which Dr. Ajit was mentioning yesterday. He did tell about that. So OBS or StreamYard, these are. So I wanted to learn. So first I went to YouTube and saw, and then I went to a colleague and then learned from him. So this is a casual learning. So now I don't have to be. So it's a great enabler. It is a great empowerment which is given to a person who wants to learn. Yes. That is basic. How you want to learn. As we always used to say in distance education, that the distance education learners have to be self-directed and self-motivated. Same goes for online education, and that would be one of the biggest challenges which we'll face in future whenever we will try to switch over to online education. Right. So this is the area. So let's coming to assessment. Once the teaching and learning has been done, and then that is say after the session we have been into teaching and learning, then comes the assessment. I always start my assessment with this particular quote, which I find to be very, very, very good and very relevant, that by Race, Brown and Smith in 2005, that nothing that we do to or for our students is more important than our assessment of their work. That is, even if they miss classes, they can cover up, you can help them cover up. But if assessment is wrong or wrong, then there's nothing going back. So assessment of their work and feedback we give them on it, whether it was good, it was bad, where can improve, where they cannot improve, things like that. The results of our assessment influence our students for the rest of their lives and careers. Fine if we get it right, but unthinkable if we get it wrong. If you are got your deserving grades, it's very good. But suppose because of any reason, maybe you were not, a student was not well just before the exam, so he or she was not able to do well, or the teacher did not assess the scripts, or there were difference in the assessment given by different teachers. So if they got it wrong, imagine the kind of effect it has on their lives. So whenever we want to do assessment, it should be most objective. The subjectivity should be reduced to maximum. And that can, how can we have to, by involving technology. The other is having rubrics. Rubrics is when you have strict, when you have defined criteria. I will discuss it a little later. Then what should be the qualities of good assessment? Of course, the first one is it should match with the objectives. If the objectives say that the learner should be able to do this, then there should be enough activities and the assessment should be there, that whether the learner was able to do that or not. So it should be in alignment with the objectives. Then well-defined criteria and standard, as I just said in the rubrics. Authentic and holistic tasks. You give case studies, you give application and analysis-based questions, not only the lower order thinking skill kind of questions. Promote self-direction. It should improve their growth and development, and they should be sufficient and timely formative feedback. Sufficient means enough to give them a direction. Timely means it should be as soon as possible, ASAP, and there should be feedback, should be formative as to where they went wrong and how can they do away with what they did wrong. Then we often come across the two types of assessment, formative assessment and the summative assessment. I give a quote by Paul Black. When the cook tastes the soup, this is the formative assessment. That is, he or she is trying to get the taste of the soup to the right point, as to if salt is less, they will add salt. If the spice is less, they will add spice. So when you are trying to improve upon the project, when you are trying to help the learners improve, it is called as formative assessment. But when the customer tastes the soup, the cook has made the soup, and then now the customer tastes it, now that is called the summative assessment. And that is where we assess as to whether the learner has learned over the semester or not, over the year or not. The agency which was established by the ministry, MHRD, now renamed as Ministry of Education in 2018, is called as the NT, the National Testing Agency. It is a very dedicated to testing, dedicated to evaluation, and now it has been roped in by many universities also for their competitive exams. Like IGNU also gave the management exams competition, like the competitive exam to NTA. The BEd also we gave it to NTA. Then the admissions, they are also, because when the admissions are based on competition like NEET and JEE, it is there. Then the fellowship, as I said, UGC NET, and then CMAT, and then also the certification of SWAYAM. If you go to the guidelines of SWAYAM, earlier they had envisaged that the host university will take the exam. But then there was a lot of discrepancies and a lot of thought which went through it. And now SWAYAM is the designated, NTA is the designated agency for taking the exams of SWAYAM. So what they have it, they generally have the computer-based testing in their proctored examination center. It is not at home, but they have these centers across India. They have this pan-Indian presence, and then you go to when you enroll, you are assigned or you choose the nearest nearest examination center, and you go there and give the exam. So that is for the NTA. When we talk of online assessment, for effective online assessment, it should be learner-centered. The kind of questions, the way you design it, it should be learner-centered. There's no doubt about it. It should encourage self-reflection. It should not be merely that you ask the question, okay, what is the capital of India? So it's just a memory level question. But encourage self-reflection. Okay, can the online teaching and learning inculcate effective domain objectives, effective domain behavior in the in learners, something like that? So how was your experience of the synchronous, like we are halfway through the session, and there were many synchronous classes. So what were your experience? What were you find much better than the face-to-face, and what you find which was not as good as the face-to-face? So self-reflection. Do you think that online education is as difficult, as challenging as the face-to-face? Include rubrics for discussion, assignments, whatever activities you are doing, which are graded, which you are assessing. That assessment can be a part of your final assessment, continuous comprehensive assessment, or this assessment can be a formative assessment for your improving the teaching and learning in the classrooms. Both you must have a rubric, because that gives transparency to the assessment. When you have transparency, okay, if you have covered 10 points, you will get 5 marks. If you have covered, say, 6 to 8 points, you will get 4 marks. If you have covered, say, 6 to 4 marks, then you've got 3 marks. If you have not covered anything, or you've just covered 1 point, maybe 0 or 1, depending on how you grade. So it's transparent. Learner knows as to how much he or she has done. Encourage self and peer assessment. It is not that as a teacher we are trying to reduce our work. No, it is because you are trying to inculcate the objective of evaluation, judgment. If you are assessing your own self, you must be academically honest. It's not like, "Arey, mujhe to karna hai, so I'll give 8 out of 10. If I don't give myself 8 out of 10, why will others give?" Sometimes I've heard this also. But then that is not. You have to inculcate that academic honesty. So self-assessment, whether it was good or not, some people are overcritical of them. Then if they're overcritical, they will not have the confidence to go into the real life. So as a teacher, we have to moderate it. So peer assessment, you are assessing the other person, overcoming the biases of being a good friend, bad friend, liking the peer or not liking it. You are overcoming those. In life, these skills are needed. So when you are encouraging self and peer assessment, you are encouraging, you are letting them exercise these skills. And that is what we say, that through the education, we should have an overall development of the learner, not merely the cognitive assessment, right? Then the contextual and aligned to the learning outcomes. Of course, it should be context, and it should be in alignment with the learning objectives. And then it should also include the learner input. That means, if don't only include something like say right and wrong, say yes and no. Let them do something. Let them create something. Make your assessment to assess higher order thinking skills of Bloom's taxonomy. You have done Bloom's taxonomy. One day, one of the resource persons had discussed Bloom's taxonomy. So you know what are the lower order thinking skills and what are the higher order thinking skills. So try to assess the higher order thinking skills. Make questions or your assessment. So when you are trying to have your online class, online learner assessment, online class assessment, there are three main steps. One is plan. Planning is very important in online education, whether it's teaching and learning, whether it's assessment. Why? Because when you are there as a face-to-face, or when you are trying to do something, then there is always a chance of you improvising, of pitching up and pitching down, things like that, right? But when you are in online, you have to plan, you have to imagine the scenario, the whole scenario, and plan accordingly. So why are you taking this assessment? What are the ways of taking this assessment? If there is a issue of bandwidth, then don't take the assessment in a synchronous mode. Make it an asynchronous mode. If there is an issue of issue of storage, then ask them to give in, say, in a textual form, or don't ask them to make long videos if you're, or don't ask them to make heavy files. So all that planning has to be done. Once you have planned and explain the purpose of the activity to learners, then implement it. It's like rolling out the test. And once the test is done, once the assessment is done, evaluate ASAP as soon as possible, and then respond to the results. If the results, like who did the most well in the exams, or somebody who has done better, somebody who has maintained their grades, and share this information with them. Sharing information is most important in motivating when we talk about the online teaching and learning or online assessment. When we are assessing, it's not only that you are assessing through the quizzes only. It is like our mindset of the face-to-face teaching and learning, that it should always be quiz, it should always be paper and pen, it should always be some project where they're doing. Why can't we, as I said in the beginning, why can't we have formative assessment techniques as well as other assessment strategies? Like, for example, concept mapping. What is concept map? Concept map is when we try to show all the related concepts and sub-concepts in one infographic, into one image, that is making a big picture out of it. In one picture, we are able to understand whether the learner has understood the relationship between the concepts and the sub-concepts. That is concept map. So rather than having quiz every time, like what will be the quiz? You will give some memory level questions, you will give some understanding level question, analysis level questions. Let us see whether they are able to, without words, graphically represent it. Say, for example, why do we use maps for navigating? Google Maps had become very popular. So whenever we want to go, earlier we used to call up everyone, or we used to be so worked up, ki where is the address, how will we find the address? Now what we do, okay, fine, we'll reach it, no problems, don't worry. So in case we have problem, that is how we tell our colleagues. So what we do is we open the Google Map, and Google Map helps us navigate, right? So map, the visual has always been much easier to understand. So even if the learner has understood the concept, he or she will be able to make a concept map, and that can be made a part of their assessment also. So instead of depending too much on quiz, they make valid connections. I'll show you an example. This is an example of concept map made by Professor Piley. It's an OER. Lines and angles. So what are lines and angles? There'll be related angles, there'll be adjacent angles, there'll be supplementary angles, there'll be pair of angles, there'll be vertically opposite angles, interior angles, non-parallel lines, and the parallel lines, a line, intersecting line, etc. So this is how he has represented the concepts of line and angles. So if a learner has understood the concepts of lines and angles, you can ask him or her to make a make a concept map. So with the concept map, you will be able to understand the kind of relationship they are able to see, whether they have missed some sub-concepts that in one picture you are able to decide. So this can also be made part of assessment, and it is usually a part of assessment in some of the courses, like in online, say, and you give, say, 100 marks is the total score, which one has to say 5 marks will be for this. Like module 2, 3, 4, you can say module 1, module 2, you have combined the module 1 and 2. On that, there's a main concept you're talking about in module. Say you're talking about the education resources in these two. So one is the education resources which are available over the internet and they're copyrighted and everything, the type of resources, video, audio and all. The second is OER. So in these two units, you ask a question, you assess as to, please make a concept map depicting the relationship of the education resources and OER and everything. So in one picture, they will say as to the education resources can be copyrighted. All the resources on internet are not free. It is free ones are the copyrighted ones. Then free ones are the OER ones. They can be open access resources also. The difference between the OERs and the open access, all that can be shown here. Yes, of course, it cannot be explained here. But if you are able to see that the relationship is depicted clearly, the words take a second seat. Or maybe in any other assignment or any other way, you can ask them about the explanation also, because once they have shown it rightly here, that means they understand, and that understanding and is much more important in teaching and learning. So this can be, as I said, this can be used as a part of assessment. So these are the alternative strategies we can use for in online education for assessment, and they can be graded. But yes, we have to be very careful when we are designing, and all this has to be clearly told to the learners right in the beginning of the session. It is not like that suddenly in the middle of the session you say, okay, fine, let us try to give 5 marks for concept map. Okay, learners, you have to make concept map and we'll give 5 marks for that. No. It has to be very planned. It is like when we get our house map passed from the municipal corporation. So we want that everything is in place. So similarly, when we plan for online teaching and learning, this has to be in place. So I'll just another alternative strategies, which is used for assessment, is discussion board. Discussion board is the third quadrant in Swayam in the online pedagogy, which UGC is promoting for online courses. So the discussion board is in lieu of the interaction between the learner and the learner and the teacher, or the kind of discussions you have in face-to-face. So it's in lieu of that. So once anybody is discussing, so sometimes the discussion will be a simple discussion, like we are discussing, say, what is a concept map, what is OER, what is the importance of OER, quality, most of the quality is not good, where do I get OER, sometimes we do not get it. So these are the points of discussion where the learners are sharing their perspective with others. That is a discussion board. But so that is the interaction. But you can also use the discussion board or the discussion forum or the online forum for assessment also. For that, okay, you can give a question like, do you think that the problem of education or problem of increasing GER can be managed, the challenge of increasing GER can be managed if we promote OER at the government level, or if there is a policy for OER use in the higher education? So this is a question which will encourage them to analyze what they read in module 1 and 2, encourage them to express themselves. So you can say that everyone has to participate. So everyone has to reply, everyone has to give their own perception. The other is you have to reply to any 2 of your peer groups right? So it is not only that I have written it and then, okay, fine, that is how you evaluate. No, you have to respond to others also. That is why you'll read others also. No? Otherwise, what will happen is you will have your own perception. You will not think about, and your perception may not be complete, may be wrong. So that is not the right spirit of discussion. Especially, you can take it to the our objectives of the like constitutional objectives like democracy, discussion, positive argument. So all that is like being like facilitated through discussion boards. So say you have to respond to two postings of your peer group. You make a small summary of what has gone through the discussion board by in all these 10 days or in these 2 weeks, and then post it as an assignment, or post it as a as again a posting into another discussion board. So all that you can say that right in the beginning, that these are the conditions, these are the criteria, and then this will also be part of assessment, final assessment, and 5 grade or 10 grade, whatever you want. There'll be 2 discussion boards, so you can say 5 plus 5, 10 marks. So that can be a part. So these are also very valid, very potent alternatives assessment strategies. Please do not always think of the proctored exams and the quizzes, how secure they are. They are also these discussion board, concept maps, and the further I'll be discussing. They're also very good indicators of the learning of the learner. It is only that we have to train our teachers, we have to train our learners to these alternative assessment strategies. Then e-portfolio. E-portfolio is generally a place where we show our collection, what we have learned. Like, it is basically portfolio word came from when we used to have it for these art people. They have to have their own drawings and all, and they have to have these portfolios which they used to show to others. But portfolio can be in any discipline, any area. As to say, all the assessments, all the writings which you have done during this semester can be put into my portfolio. So from my first assignment to my 10th assignment, or 10th or 5th assignment, whichever is the number, the teacher will be able to see that has my writing style changed, has my language improved, has my am I more precise in my arguments, am I more expressive, more communicative. So all portfolio is the evidence of the learning, the growth pattern, the learning curve of each and every individual. Plus, it is also a place through which it is also a assessment strategies which can help them later on also. The prospective employers, the prospective, where if you're try to take admission in PGs, then this can also be an evidence of what you have learned in your B.Ed, as in your graduation. As we used to say in B.Ed, that there were certain teachers trainee teachers who used to come, who were good teachers right from day 1. And we were better teachers at day 100. But there were certain other teacher trainees who were not good on day 1, but they were quite good on day 100. So that is the growth which is reflected, or which can be exhibited in portfolio. So why can't we have that as an assessment? So maintain a portfolio, maintain an e-portfolio, and then let it be a part of assessment, say 5 or 10 grade. So if I just want to show you, it shows the progress over time, the achievements. In fact, I have in one of my courses, which I did from Open University, Malaysia, portfolio was a assessment tool. The final assessment was done through the portfolio only. So we maintained our portfolio, and the portfolio can be made through made on anything. It can be Mahara, which is an open source e-portfolio software only, utility only, but otherwise we made it on blog. So this is a blog. Why open online assessment, right? So this is an online assessment of the course HMIR 5503. So this was the assessment. Like, this was assignment for literature review. We had to select a topic and do extensive literature review, and then present it. Say assignment 1, Nisha Singh, the variables which were there, and then the teacher will go and mark the assignments here only. So this was a critical review. So all this is them. So this shows as to what was my like how I did in the first assignment. All that is, this is e-portfolio, which I have I have as assessment. So this is how when we were doing these assessments, we were doing it through our LMS only and through the mails only. But at the end of the course, we had to do certain other things, and we had to make this e-portfolio as a showcase of our assessment, and this was submitted for assessment to our. So this was like, I have experienced it, and it is quite good. But then we little have to, as we say, that we will have to think little out of the box, and we have to come out of this perception of summative and then only paper and pencil examinations. Then I'll just take another one. This is blog. A blog can also be, it's like subjective opinion. Ask every learner to have a blog. What they learned in the class, what they learned in this week, their take on it. So you will, one thing will be that you will be letting them express themselves. You will also come to know about their journey, the challenges they are facing in the online, in your class, or in the every other class in the program. The other is that you will also see as to their thinking at the reflective level, whether the activity which they did in the class, whether the case study which they had in the class, is that useful for them or not. So they can also have these, like if they have something like weird ideas or new ideas regarding what they learned. So these are the places. So this is also called as learning journal, and that can also be part of your assessment. You can say that you have to maintain the learning journal, say every month or every fortnight. You'll have to you have to summarize or make a presentation or something like that. You'll have to be creative as to how you can use blog as a part of their assessment, because this also has the potential to assess the teaching and assess the learning of the learners as to at what level they are thinking about the concepts, how do they perceive the teaching and learning which is going on in the semester, and what are the challenges they are facing. You can also have this as an activity that you must read each other's blog and then try to solve. Say, suppose if I'm writing in my bed, I think that maybe I'm not able to do my assignments on time, or I'm having problem in expressing, and sometimes the technology or the tools become more, I get like discouraged by the new technology and by the new tools. And somebody, my friend, somebody who is my classmate, reads it, then maybe he'll say, okay, fine, I'm not scared of technology. Or somebody is writing that I enjoy the tools and technologies, so maybe I'll connect with that. Or as a teacher, I can moderate that, I can connect the two people, right? So that is how we can use that as a part of our teaching and learning as well, and assessment as well. Then Wiki. Whenever we are in face-to-face or we are in other mode of teaching and even distance education, we have this group work, right? We give this group work or some project work. So Wiki is a place where you can give group work in online, and that can be a part of your assessment as to, and this becomes all the more better as to, because Wiki is a system which makes entry of every log. If I have logged at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m., it will make a entry in the log, whether and how long I was there, what is the timings, etc. So every version of that log is protected and saved there. So that is the beauty. So if a group activity you have given, project activity you have given, in face-to-face or in general, and even in this open education or distance education, we have no way of knowing as to, in that 5 people group, who did most work and who did the least work, and who were basically the back ones, and who were the ones who were really proactive. But in Wiki, since they are logging into a system, when Wiki has entry of each log, you are able to know that who is more proactive. Plus, you can encourage all to be proactive, since they know that it is like all the archives are there, everything is there for the teacher to look at, and then they will be much more proactive. So this is like a learning archive where we are able to access as to what was the level of the learner who learned, how much he or she is contributing, how much he or she is proactive. So this can also be a part or made a part of assessment. It can also act as an alternative assessment strategies and can be a part of their final assessment. Then we can have surveys also. Basically, surveys we do not make for a final assessment, but then they help you in knowing the perception of the learners, the getting the feedback from them, and that can be easily used for improving your teaching and learning. Then we have the concept called exit card. After every module, you can have a exit card or a minute paper, which will be basically an exercise which can be done through a discussion forum or otherwise also, as to what was the take from that particular module, what was the take from that particular class, what was that which you found to be difficult, and things like that. So once you get these responses, then you are able to understand as to that what are the difficulties learner is facing, and then how you can improve it. And then that can be, when if you want it to be a little higher level, then maybe that can be a part of your, if you make it a question and answer style, that can be a part of your assessment also. But again, I'll request you that whatever you take, please decide right in the beginning, give it a weightage, and then you make that scheme clear. Then there's interactive videos. I think on the first day, Dr. Sharma did show you about H5P, where you can have these interactive videos. That is, you make your quiz or you make your questions as a part of the videos. So that can also be used as a formative assessment, maybe not as a part of your final assessment, but as a formative assessment, making your teaching and learning much better, assessing the learning of the learners. Then certain assessment tools we'll be talking about. Whenever we talk about assessment, we have to talk about the rubrics. As I said in the beginning, rubrics are nothing but the rating scales. We have a criteria. We have 5-point rating scale. We have 7-point rating scales. So rubrics are the rating scales or the scoring guides, which help us to predefine the performance level, the performance criteria, and assess the students' performance on those predefined performance criteria, so that there is a transparency into the system, there is no subjectivity is reduced to the minimum, and then we are able to make assessment to the most objective. There are two main types of rubrics. One is the holistic rubric and one is the analytic rubric. So we'll talk about it. And then there's a site which helps you in making rubrics. You don't have to, just a minute. I will take just a minute. Give me 2 minutes. I just want to show you this site. It was not getting selected there. I'll go to another tab. So this is the site, Ruby Star. There are many other sites also, but just to showcase, this is a Ruby Star where you are able to make, you don't have to even log in for that. You just have to go and make a rubric. Say I want to make a rubric on multimedia. Right? So on multimedia, we have this digital storytelling. There are certain rubrics which are already available. There's some information they want, which we can give. Say your salutation, your name. I'll just write my name. And then project. Do you want to name a project? Say I'll say digital storytelling environment. The zip code. Say we are from not from US, so we'll just write. They say that international can write 9 5 times. So then this is the criteria. Please choose. So related to multimedia, they already have predefined. So what is the dramatic question? What is the voice consistency? What is the voice conversational style? So now they have predefined. If I don't like the word conversational style, I can always talk about communication style. Say 4 will be uses a communication style throughout. communication style throughout. Then I can again say, just a minute. I'll just copy it, say maybe, reset in all these, then 70 to 84% of the times, 85 to 95% of the times, 3, 2, 1, they have done it. See, I'll just show, I'll not take rest, submit. See, now they have done it. Teacher's name, my name, they have picked up. Communication style. It was saying conversational style, but I wanted it to be the communication style. So I have done. So now this rubric I can use, print, download, make available online. But limitation with this is, since we are using this version free, it is available for less time. So once you have made it, you can just either you log in and make an account, then you'll have a copy of, otherwise after a certain point of time, your rubric gets like it is done away with. So, but you want to make it once only. If you want to make it for the other course, then you'll go and make it again, right? So this is how you can make a rubric using rubric star. Then we talked about holistic rubric and analytic rubric. Holistic rubric, when you make descriptions and you give score according to that, like this, the person demonstrates complete understanding of the problem, all tasks are done. Then 4 is when he or she has got considerable understanding of the problem, not complete but considerable, all tasks are done. 3 is when partial understanding, not complete understanding, but most tasks are done. And similarly you do. So you're trying to define the whether the learner was able to do that problem or task or not. The analytic is when you're trying to distinguish them on that particular criteria, on which level, the beginner level, intermediate level, advanced, outstanding, exemplary. Like for example, in the painting, like if you're painting, the color combination criteria is color combination. So in the color combination, I am at the intermediate level. In the criteria 2, which is like the strokes, clear and fine strokes. So which level I am in? What do you mean by clear? So all that is defined in the criteria and which level I am. So this is more analytic of the abilities of the learner. So this also is used in assessment and helps in improving the learner. So it helps in assessing the learner and improving them. Then of course assignment is a part of assessment. You can give assignments. That assignments they can submit to the through emails or even in synchronous. If you're using some LMS, then you can have that. Then practice quizzes are must. Quizzes, we have been not been talking about quizzes, but quizzes are integral part of assessment in online and can be of many types: multiple choice, multi-select, fill in the blanks, match the following, and they can also be used for formative and summative assessment. Usually summative assessment is equated with proctoring sites and plans with like or open book exams, as we say, and NT is also doing proctoring exams also. You can have question data banks, like Swayam has these question data banks. You can shuffle the questions. You can always or try to have higher order thinking questions, which can be for a short answer. Don't always depend all the questions to be MCQs or this objective test. Give some kind of expression, as we say it should be, as we say, blend is better. So blend of both, so that through a multiple choice or short answer in essay, you can have these higher order thinking skills also. You can embed quizzes in other exercises. Another thing which they do is, besides other security related technologies, like it's only Nisha who is doing it. So you lock all the browsers. There are certain browsers through which you cannot access internet just like that. Only you can open your site and you cannot browse the other sites. Then you can also monitor the IP address. If I'm taking classes every day or I'm attending classes, but on the exam day I have a different IP, then it becomes a little difficult. Then you should always give practice exams. There should be a code of conduct, academic honesty. All these things have to be discussed. And another thing which is very important is the strict handling of the cheating cases. That has to be there. Then how do we make online assessment? There is an offline freeware which is called as Hot Potatoes. You just go to Hot Potatoes and download. It comes like this. There are 5 applications. In fact, there are 6 applications. These 5 applications are like you can make questions, fill in the blanks, quiz question, crossword, jumble up sentences, match the following. And once you have done that, you can match them. Close, fill in the blanks. You can make these kind of questions. Quiz, you can make multiple choice like others. Then these questions, and then there's a negative marking there. If you do not give the right answer on the first go, then the system by itself is programmed to deduct marks. Then match the following, of course. This is a drop-down menu of the match the following. This is a drag and drop format of the match the following. Both can be done. Mixed is when you have these jumbled sentences, and then you just have to put them in the right order. This is much much better for the younger children or for the language people, where the placement of the word is very important in sentence construction. Then crossword, as we all know that it is difficult to make, but then with this software, it is very easy. There's a tab here, manage grid, and you get all the, you can get it crossword like this, which can be easily given to. So these can also be used as assessing the learner. Then you develop those and then you mash them. Like mash them means you package them as one content, and then that can be packaged in the masher. Like you mash potatoes. So similarly, you can do that. So you have this, and then you can. Then Google Forms can also be used. As I just wanted to show you, these are the Google Forms. They can be used for question and answers. We all know this is questions, multiple choice, drop-down menu. There's a lot of variety of questions which are available. I'll just show you. Right. So I'll just show you that. Okay, form, so I think you must have done. You have to go to forms. Right. So you can just make, I say, suppose I'll make a form draft, or let me take just, it's a feedback form. But if I want to make it, I can make it into a question and answer quizzes. So these quizzes can be easily used in your teaching and learning. Right. Then we can have quizzes. I just showed you the quizzes. Then you have software called Kahoot, which can be used. Socrative is another software which can be used. Then I'll just show you Socrative also. So this is a Socrative. You just go to Socrative site. This is a Socrative site. It will ask you to Socrative. Just a minute. This is the site. This is the site. Once you sign up, or you just log in, teacher login or student login. Since I'm a teacher, I logged in through my teacher account. So now this is giving me, the free version gives you one room only, but you can develop your quizzes. I can launch the quiz. I can develop quizzes. See, these are the quizzes. Even it supports the regional languages. This is in Hindi, which I did. So these quizzes can be given to the, and this is the room. See, if I want to run a quiz, then what I can do is I'll just go to launch quiz. Would you like to stop the current activity? Yes. I want to launch this. Right. Then next step, it'll ask me, do you want the students to give instant feedback, whether it's a part of their learning, then instant feedback, or teacher paced or open navigation. So whichever way you want, you can just take it. Then it requires name. You have to add the name of the learners or let them add it. So once you have done it, it will take you to your room. So now this is teacher paced. I'll have to give them questions. Now what learners have to do it? They have to go to Socrative. Even on the mobile, they can do it. Just download the Socrative app and do the student login. So once you are in student login, it will ask you to what is the name of the room. So as a teacher, my room name is Nisjin, which was shown. This is my room. It is like I'm giving a test, every learner has to come to my room. So Nisjin is my room. So the learner will just enter and then join. And now the learner will be able to, my name, and my name is just like, I'll say Ronnie. So this, as a teacher, I'm running. This is the teacher interface. This is the learner interface. So this kind of activities you can have in your online teaching and learning. So I'll before showing you like how to develop a quiz on quizzes, we also know that whenever we try to develop an online course, there are certain criteria on which we evaluate the course, whether the course is right or like it is on the, like it has incorporated all the variables, all the steps. So there was a site called Quality Matters. So what they are trying to do is they're trying to have quality, like introduce quality in online education. So they give 8 general standards for these. They said that it should have course overview and introduction. That is a must. Like what the course, as I said right in the beginning, what will be the assessment strategies, what will be the delivery strategies, what behavior is acceptable, what performance level is acceptable, all that has to be there. And introduction to the course, introduction to the course instructor, introduction to each one of us. Then learning objectives. What are the objectives? What are the competencies? See, after doing this course, I will be able to design an online course. I will be able to run an online course in my university or college. Then assessment and measurement. That is very important. And as you see, yesterday also there was talk about instructional design. Whenever we design, it is always that we take just after objective, we decide the assessment, so that there is a match, so that we develop the instructional material and the teaching and learning as per the objectives and the assessment, what we have decided, right? So instructional material, what kind of instructional material is there, video, audio, whether it is asynchronous or other details. Then the quality and everything. Learning activities and learning instruction. A good course will always have lots and lots of learning activities. As yesterday you were having a session about classroom management, there was a lot of activities madam was telling about. She was telling how she was more innovative so that everybody was active. So those kind of learning activities, and there is no said rule for that. It is every teacher's prerogative, every teacher's innovation, and every teacher's creativity. And how do we motivate learner interaction? Use all technologies, WhatsApp, the phone, the email, the Google group or the Yahoo group, LMS, all those. Then the course technology. What exactly? Will it be delivered through an LMS like Moodle? Or will it be that they will be separate synchronous online counseling and content management system will be there, and then there'll be integration of the two. So what course technology will be used? Then the learner support. How will you support learner? Will the only instructor, or will there be a whole team of mentors who will be roped in to answer the queries? What kind of a support will be there? Technical support, academic support, all kind of a support. Even motivational support you can have. You can have some kind of a counselors also who can come, or otherwise as a teacher you can do the counseling. Accessibility and usability. How accessible is the course? Is it how is the navigation? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Then the course evaluation, they made all those details, the points, which are 8 points. Then this is in details they have given. And they have given what kind of points should be given to. When you are trying to evaluate, say in course overview, if the instructions make clear how to get started and where to find, that is the whole navigation, the whole path, the whole building is clear. For example, when I joined my B.Ed, they said that we were given 1 week for a tour of the whole building, so that we know where the library is, where the lab is, and all that. So all that is important, and that was given 10 marks for 3 marks for this when we are evaluating. So this is, I'll end here. Thank you. But before closing my sharing window, I'll just like to show you how do we make these quizzes. Some of you may be knowing it, but for others who do not know it, just 5 minutes to that. And this making of a quiz is almost, it's like transfer of learning. Once you have learned on one system, you can easily make on another. So if you have learned on quizzes, you can always make on Kahoot and Socrative. Little bit of changing. It's like you have learned how to drive a car. I drive Maruti Suzuki's Desire. If you give me a Honda, maybe a little bit I'll try to understand. Then I'll drive that. So this is transfer of learning, and that is also applicable here. So here, just 5 minutes more. Just create. Once we are into create, give the quiz name. Say OER. I'll give the quiz name, and which level? Say professional level. So I'll make that. So now we have multiple choice, checkbox, and fill in the blank. These 3 type of questions will be scored. Poll and open-ended will not be scored. They will be given show score, but it will not be added as that will be not be the discriminating factor among the learners. So once we do it, multiple choice. Okay, what is OER's full form? OER full form. Then this is like open education resources. Let me just, please excuse the typo. I'll just copy it to save the time. And say these are the resources, and this is the right answer. We have to tell the system we save it. So now what you can do is you can just duplicate this question and then maybe make some changes. Okay, I'm fine with this. I'll just duplicate this, save it, right? Or you can, if there are certain quizzes available, you can even teleport. See, I'm making on OER, it has taken it. I can, this OER stands for, I'll add this question. I'll add this question also. I'll add this question also. I'll add this question also. So I have taken from the quizzes which were available. Then I'll just say done. It'll ask me if I want to insert an image, English level, professional level, or the university level, public, visible to everyone. If you are in making it, then private. Otherwise, you can make it public. Save. Now your quiz is ready. Now you can give them for practice. You can play live. I had played live when we were doing it. Play live, then continue, and then we came to the point where we started. So I'll end it and end here. Then stop sharing my screen. Just a minute. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Nisha madam.
Yeah.
We have learned many things related to assessment and evaluation from your presentation. And basically, within a very short period, we have also learned how to make teaching learning very effective and interesting. Like you have shown the format of quiz and how you have engaged our participants in a very short period. So this type of activities, if we can use in our assessment and evaluation procedure, I think our examination process will be very much effective and learners will be motivated. I think besides writing all subjective answers from 10 marks, 8 marks and all. So because sometimes they become bored by writing all these things. So this type of short evaluation or summative evaluation, I think will be very much helpful for our learners, and this will also be effective in near future. And thank you so much. You have given so much of ideas regarding the key areas of online learning, then how the quality of the good assessment, and regarding concept mapping, how concept mapping not only important for the students, I think whatever you have said, not only important for the students to create concept mapping after their learning process, but I think it is also important for the teachers before giving online teaching to the students. They also prepare the concept mapping so that the teaching learning process become very helpful for both teaching in the part of teaching as a teacher and the part of learning in the part as a learners. So thank you very much. Now the Discussion is open. If anyone have any questions, you can ask to our speaker. Our participants, I request
yes,
our
madam,
participants.
I have a question. Yes, madam,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, Nisha madam. Madam,
Good
we
morning.
met in
Good afternoon.
Netaji Subhash Open University.
Yeah,
where-
yeah.
Yes, madam.
We have met.
Madam, like we have been taking online classes, as you know, because of this pandemic. It has become almost mandatory for us to take regular classes for NSOU online. We have an individual LMS upon which we have been taking classes. Madam, I have two questions. The one is you majorly spoke of the objective questions, and you said that it is better if we have questions of this kind, because then less the subjectivity is, it is better for the teachers as well. They can also keep themselves aware of the biases and kind of correct the answers as clearly as possible. But madam, my question is for social science areas or other qualitative sciences where the cognitive domain is very important for us. So there, what do you have to say that how to put forward sometimes descriptive questions as well? And if I want to go for descriptive questions at all, which app or which technology you think should be tool you think should be a better one? That is number one. Madam, number two is we have a WhatsApp group for the students, and I myself encourage students to have a WhatsApp group for themselves so that they can share their comments or any experience they have about themselves, and even teachers have been made a part of it. But madam, the problem is in the WhatsApp group, the students keep exchanging different kinds of comments and their own experiences, which sometimes are not that palatable for the teachers as well. So, do you think WhatsApp groups are good enough tools, keeping in mind maintaining the sanctity of the teachers? But then, as you say, that you can have blogs. So, do you think, what is your idea about WhatsApp groups? They come about their experiences immediately after our classes. Students go on sharing their experiences on the WhatsApp group, and we can learn a lot about it. But sometimes I feel the comments are unsavory, not very not very parliamentarian, but then those are their raw experiences and crude spontaneous experiences. So do you think that those WhatsApp groups should be encouraged at all or not? And thirdly, apart from the cognitive skills, we need to have certain psychomotor skills also. So madam, for the psychomotor skills, we need to come close, otherwise instilling psychomotor skills in students becomes very difficult. For instance, in primary schools, in Montessori schools, children of toddlers, they need to write, they need to know how to grab the pencil. The schools, the Montessori schools, even they have their own online programs. But I mean, this may be a little out of the way question, but still I'm asking you, madam, what is the way of instilling such psychomotor skills? Because children can learn a lot. I mean, they can learn rhymes, they can listen to a story, but how to grab a pencil is something they cannot learn from online classes. So, madam, three questions I have. If I can just come to know your valuable take on it. Madam, hope to meet you.
I'll try to share my perspective.
Yes,
Yes, psychomotor skills for the that is why we say that online learning is not the panacea for everything, right? We have to use it with the proper for the group we are maintaining. So for learning how to write on a page.
yeah.
So making somebody hold it, that is what they say, that for primary classes, they say that it is always preferred that the parents are there. The teacher is through the online, parents are as a moderator, whatever you say. So that is there. But at the higher level, doing something, say like working on the computers, formatting something, or say I've got this. How to anything, how to mend this box.
Yes, exactly.
How to this box. So this I can show on the mic. A teacher can also show, and the learner can also show as to whether he or she has understood or not.
Yes.
So we will have to differentiate with the level we are dealing with.
Yes.
So basically, that is what there is a little reservation about, that can skills be taught?
Yes, exactly.
So exactly, if I'm seeing that somebody is making the very nice fluffy cake,
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
it's so easy, I can also make it. But the moment I make it, I'll feel that, oh, I'm not able
I'm not
to do
able.
the kind of properly. There were too many slips between the cup and the lips.
Exactly,
So
madam.
that is what the thing is. The education process will be complete only when we are assessing at that particular level also. I said that objective and the assessment should match.
Yes.
Right. So assessment should also be that. So yes, they will be for younger learners. There has to be somebody who will be moderating
Yes.
how to play, like hold the pencil correctly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or but for a say adult learner, for a person who is working at the abstract level, if you know Piaget and all, Piaget talks about that a particular concept, you're at the abstract thinking level. That means you know the concepts and you're able to take it to a higher level. You don't have to be little concrete about it. You can think at the abstract level. So for that, I think this online education can do well, because
Yes.
by looking at it, it's only that the opportunity and the kind of interaction. Okay, I did it for 10 minutes, but it did not come out well.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, you have to do it only in one direction, not in the other direction. These are
Yes.
the tricks.
Yes, yes.
Right. So that can be done. The other was WhatsApp. WhatsApp is something which brings a connect in distance.
Yes.
But WhatsApp is very informal.
Yes, madam.
You
Very.
cannot have a formal log of that.
No, no, no.
Right.
No.
Plus, you very rightly said people are crude and rude.
Yes, yes, yes.
That is because we have not inculcated that kind of netiquettes in them.
Yes.
One reason. So somewhere as a teacher, when we talked about all-round development, why do we have to absolve ourselves from this duty? Let it be, take it as your duty as to tell, say, okay, fine, Ram or Sham, whosoever is, this is not the way you should write it. Maybe not in the group, but on the personal.
No.
I'll give you an example, which is the most recent example. One of the learners, he had some issue with the IGNU. So he was writing very, very nasty mails.
Okay, okay.
And it was related to admissions. I am not concerned with admissions. I am at the Center for Online Education. It is the SRD which deals it. So once when he wrote to me, he mentioned, he like directly wrote to me with the CC to somebody.
Okay.
So I just forwarded it with the CC to him that, okay, fine, like this is not to me, but please look into the case. Today morning also he wrote a mail. So I just said that, please, we are looking into it, and I don't deal with it, deal with admission. So writing to me will not help. I had forwarded your earlier mail also, and this one also I'm forwarding. So then immediately say, I think by after 2-3 hours, I got a mail. I have been trying to write, and so he apologized on mail. I have the mail.
Okay, okay, okay.
Sorry for my earlier mails.
Okay, okay.
If I could have been nasty, why are you writing to me? I'm not dealing with admissions, and this is not the way to write. IGNU is a reputed in university. Why are you writing? Then it is like you, as a teacher, I believe that I'm more mature. I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that I'm more mature. I have to deal it with. It's like basically a teacher's role is a counselor's role also.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very well said.
So this is, I think, I'm my take on this. But then WhatsApp becomes an immediate connect.
Yes, yes, yes.
And sometimes you'll feel that you don't even have to answer. Somebody will answer on your behalf.
Yes.
So what you can have, if you have a LMS or something like that, you can have a formal group, Google group, and a WhatsApp. WhatsApp for these nitty-gritties.
Yeah. Nitty-gritty.
And then Google group for something more academic and more reflective. So you have to train them for that, both. Netiquettes also, academic, and then cognitive. When you say that, there are tools available, but then those are not, they are not so tested and tried the way MCQs have been tested and tried.
Yes,
because it again is it's like a human being is trying to train a machine to think as to what could be the probable answer.
Yes, exactly.
And it can be many. So still the system says that you can have these kind of phrases, keywords. If they are there, give 5 marks. If 4 are there, give 4 marks. I'm just giving you a hypothetical example. So, but then you will have to be very exhaustive about the permutation and the combinations.
Yes. the options.
Right. Say if somebody says that it is Kolkata, right? But somebody writes Calcutta.
Yeah.
Is it the right answer or the wrong answer? You'll have to give both.
Yeah. Yes.
And teacher cannot be replaced. So as a teacher, you'll be the best one to judge.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. Hope to meet you. Yes,
Sure.
yeah,
Thank you so much, ma'am, Nisha ma'am.
Okay.
And it's time now, it's 4 o'clock, and Professor Madhu Parhar ma'am joined us for our valedictory session. And I also request our Nisha ma'am to be with us in our valedictory session. We are just going to start our valedictory session. And before that, I just have a small announcement for our participants that a feedback link has been provided in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback link for your certification. So I think Madhu ma'am is here. Madhu, sorry.
Yes, Indrani, I'm here. Indrani, hello Indrani, hello Nisha, how are you all?
Fine, madam.
Yes,
Welcome,
fine.
madam.
Yeah, hello Pranab.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone.
I think we, our Vice Chancellor sir will also join shortly. Pranabda?
Join just here Kurim boli koise.
We will wait for a few minutes. Our Vice Chancellor sir is also joining with us.
Sure. So all of you had a good 3 days training program. I saw it was very interesting themes you all had listed it out.
Thank you, ma'am. And we had a very nice sessions also, because all the experts have presented so nicely. They have given all the nook and corners of the online teaching learning. So I think it will be very much helpful for our participants also, and even for us also. And we can apply in our apply for our learners in near future. And we are also doing that till now.
Yeah, I see there are more than 80 plus trainees with you. They are from Assam or some.
No, all Asian Open University, ma'am. All Indian Asian Open University.
Oh, Asian Open University.
Asian Open University.
Yeah, Asian Open University.
There are participants from Bangladesh. There are participants from Malaysia. It was more 114 or 15, but I think due to some connectivity problems, some might not join.
Maybe due to the time difference, time zone also, maybe some of them they have left.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam. We have participants from Karnataka Open University, Bardhaman Mahavir Open University, NSOU, YCMOU, IGNOU, like that. And also many faculty members from colleges and universities of Assam, madam.
Okay, very good.
But we keep population a small number, we select so that we can extensively discuss the things, and we bringing the resource person also very selectively, Dr. R.C. Sharma from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University.
Yes,
and two from United States of America.
Yes, they were there. And I heard Nisha, she is an expert.
Thank you. Thank you,
Nisha, madam,
she was there earlier also in the program. Not in this program. Okay, Maitri was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was with the academic counselors program.
Yeah, you were with the academic counselors. No, I'm sure it must be very interesting. Because the instructional design you included, which Professor Dr. R.C. Sharma dealt with, and two very important other international experts, they came into it. That was interesting.
Founder, visitor join kora nai no? Founder?
Yes, just Vice Chancellor sir informed me he is trying to connect because he fell in mobile, so he now open his laptop. So just a minute, he will join. So please bear with us for another 1 or 2 minutes. And madam, there is Uttarakhand Open University also. Dr. Siddharth Pakriyal also with us.
Yes, I saw. I just saw his name
Yes,
in the chat. Yes,
yes,
of course.
yes.
Mhm. Of course, he's there. No, many open universities joined, so
Yes, yes.
that was good. So from Malaysia, which open university joined? Bangladesh also open university joined?
Yes, yes, madam.
Okay.
We invited Sri Lanka also, but they told that they would join, but maybe some reason they unable to
Yeah.
join.
I
Yeah.
think they not the reason. I mean, what I am going to say. They are having elections on 5th August. I understand Sri
Yes, yes,
Lanka.
yes, yes, yes,
So maybe some issues there.
yes, yes. Still, all sessions were very lively, and since experts having its own command of their field, so participants are enjoying, and feedback is very good from Bangladesh, from Netaji Subhas, and other members who are actively participate.
So
Pranabda, sir is in.
So I request Indrani to start the valedictory session.
Okay. Welcome, ma'am, once again, and I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. So we have come to the last session of our 3-day international workshop on design, development, and implement effective online teaching. So in this valedictory session, though Madhu Parhar ma'am is very much known to us, but still for our participant, I want to announce that we have with us our honorable guest of honor, Professor Madhu Parhar madam, and our honorable Vice Chancellor sir, and also Nisha madam. Professor Madhu Parhar madam, she is Director, Commonwealth of Educational Media Center for Asia, SEMCA, New Delhi, and she has been acting as a director in SEMCA since June 2019. And previously, she was Professor of Distance Education in Staff Training and Research, Institute of Distance Education at IGNOU, and was appointed as Director of SPRITE in November 2018. She is specialized in educational technology, open and distance education, instructional design, and has also contributed several articles and research papers in those areas. She has co-edited several books, including Open and Distance Education, Indian Education, Development Since Independence and Education in India, Dynamics of Development. She was also consulted by UNESCO on various distance education projects. So we are very honored to have ma'am with us, and for this special moment of the workshop. Now, without taking much time, I would like to request Madam to give a valuable speech on the theme of the workshop. So over to you, Madam. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you, Indrani. Thank you for such a good introduction. All of us, we are professionals. All of you, including me, we belong to the same open and distance education. Like all of you, you are from the open universities. I came from IGNOU, still belong to IGNOU. So distance education, open and distance learning is our field. I always say that it is, you said I'm a guest of honor. Thank you so much. But it is just that we are colleagues. That's more important because we learn from each other. And it's just, in my opinion, it's just a matter of chance that someone speaks and all of you are on the other part of it. In face to face, I always say that I am on this side of the table and all of you are on the other side of the table, but we belong to the same profession and we are doing very well. Each one of us, we are doing very well in our lines, in our own subjects, in our own disciplines. So Professor Kandarpa Das, the Vice Chancellor of KK Handik Open University, Professor Pranab, Indrani, Dr. Nisha, the last speaker of this 3-day training program, the resource person, I must say. I know I was listening to her. She explained the assessment very well. And all my colleagues from various open universities from India, Bangladesh, Malaysia, and other universities from the region. So I'm sure all of you enjoyed this 3 days training program. And I think we must appreciate Professor Kandarpa Das and Professor Pranav that he made this program as Asian Open University, training of, workshop of for the faculty members for the Asian Open University. When we did last time this program online, it was only for the maybe KG Handik Open University, but he went forward. I mean, it was the vision he had that he had. Maybe next time he will have it for the whole world, from Africa, from Caribbeans, and from all other regions. So good, well done, Professor Kandarpa Das. Now let me share the screen. I will not be talking much, but just a brief, maybe I'll just sum up what all you did. I will share my screen, try to share my screen. Okay, so this is the title or the theme of this 3-day training program, Effective Online Teaching. So I was just thinking, wondering what online teaching, all of us we know, what is effective? Effective can be maybe different for different people. But during these 3 days, what you learned the following. When I was looking at the schedule, the workshop curriculum, online workshop curriculum, you learned about effective online pedagogy, you learned about effective instructional strategies, you learn about effective online tools, classroom management, and learning assessment. That was the last. So these were the things. So all were effective. If you see, all in their own way, the sessions, the themes were effective. So if you say, let's say, instructional strategies, it should be effective. If you talk about tools, it has to be effective. Classroom management, it has to be effective. So what are we talking about? Effective. I thought we are talking about this point in below the screen, that is quality assurance. And quality is one of the major themes everyone is talking about these days. So when we say effective, it means quality. And this I really like this statement by Plato, that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. I like a rose, a red color rose. Maybe Nisha likes a black color rose. I don't like a black color rose, because rose has to be something red color, in my opinion. So that's what beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So does it mean the quality or the effectiveness of the online program lies in the eyes of each one of us? That's one very important question with us. So you all covered these points during these 3 days. But let's see, are there policies available for these online policies? Because policies are, as you know, we just had a policy day before of education policy, the new education policy. So I was just wondering, do we have an online policy in the country? Has they given some quality assurance parameters? Has they told us that how effective an online course will be? So I just went through to the various things. So I was looking for, does country has a policy? So it can be India has an online policy, Bangladesh has its own online policy, Malaysia can have, Sri Lanka can have, and so on and so forth. Coming from the country, question mark, all of you know, or if we don't know, we can go and search the internet, Google it, and find it out whether we have a policy or not, the country has a policy or not. Next comes, if yes, no, is institutions have an online policy. So let's say, does KK Handik State Open University has an online policy? Or for that matter, if I say IGNO has a policy, or Uttarakhand Open University, and I'm talking about this part, online education policy. We have several policy. All of the universities, they have this harassment policy. They have their, maybe, I don't know whether ICT policy is there, and within ICT policy, they have online policy or not. But whether institutions have online policy. The last part is some of the regulatory authorities, do they have mentioned that what is an effective online program? Because that's what it is. Policy, we feel that the policy will talk about the effectiveness of an online program. So that's what it says. So maybe if India, if we say, because we have colleagues from other countries, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Malaysia also, but if we talk about India, the regulatory authority, UGC, DEB, made a notification that what should be an online policy should be. But did they describe the policy aspect of it? Or the SWAM platform, that is an online. SWAM has given us 4 quadrants. So do we call it a policy? Do we call it an instructional design? That an online program should have those 4 quadrants. Is that a part of an instructional design? So what is that? So regulatory authority also gives us certain things. So we need to see what we have at the moment. Now, I was looking through the various, I got interested in this aspect, so I was just searching the net, and I thought many organizations, many countries, many institutions, they have their policy. Whether you say ICT policy, you say education technology policy, or an online policy. So the one which is important, I'm going to just talk about, and I have written it up. This is a World Bank education technology policy, which I thought would be of interest, and that's why I have written. I have not written the others because a time constraint, as well as I'm sure all of you as learners will go and search it out now, that what are those policies. So this is, the link is given here. This is one, I think I liked it, because why I said I liked it, and I am quoting here, is that this document gives education technology policies around the world. That excited me a lot. And what parameters it has talked about is the vision and planning. It is talking about policies around the world. They have done a very good analysis of it. So what they have talked is vision and planning, what should be ICT infrastructure, what teachers' role should be, and how teachers should act. What are the skills and competencies of teachers, coordinators, and so on and so forth? What are the learning resources? The EMIS, that is the Educational Management Information System. They called it as Educational Management System. We in India call it as MIS, Management Information Systems. Next point, monitoring and evaluation, and equity, inclusion, and safety. So, I mean, I thought it very interesting that they analyze the policy themes in education technology, and online learning is, online education is part of a broader framework education technology. And they said these are the points which many country policies have talked about. From here, if we move to the next slide, I was very much interested because, and I thought I must share it. And in these 3 days, maybe or may not be, the new education policy was touched upon because it came only day before. So maybe it hasn't. So I thought it will be very interesting for all of you to know. You must have read it all about that. What our new policy has talked about ICT, education technology, online education, and so on and so forth. Broadly, if we say technology. So these were the points I culled it out from the NPE 2020, which talked about that how well we should have or how good we should go. Because this policy, again, if we say this policy, our NPE of India has come after 38 years. So I don't know the next policy when it will come, but this policy, they have talked about these, what you see on the screen, the parameters. So they have talked about digital infrastructure, which they say, yes, there is the infrastructure deficiency, but they are improving, right? So they talked about, this policy talks about online teaching platforms and tools, which one of the sessions, which was assessment tools, which Nisha took. What are the various teaching platforms also? It can be Zoom, it can be Cisco, it can be whatever these days you are available. And there can be other. SWAM is the best example. Next point, the policy discusses, the Indian policy discusses content creation, digital repository. You have talked about content creation in these 3 days. Digital divide, definitely there is a digital divide in the country and of course in all other Asian countries. The best part which this policy talks about virtual labs, right? And I will tell you, I'm just giving you a thing. SEMCA is going to organize a program on virtual labs now. Almost we have finalized, so we will invite all of you to see how virtual labs are created, what virtual labs are, and because it's very important. If you have a subject, maybe in KK Handik State Open University also you have a subject on BSc Chemistry or BSc Physics, how do people do experiments? Even before this COVID, students were not able to do the experiments. So there has virtual labs. Post-COVID, definitely they are going to have more problems. How they are going to do these experiments. So the new policy has described about virtual labs. It has talked about training and incentives for teachers. Very important point. And that's what all of you are undergoing. This is, you are undergoing the training to how to design and develop online programs. It has talked about, the policy has talked about online assessment and examination, talked about blended models of learning. And the last point, just a paragraph, the policy document mentions just a paragraph, each has a paragraph, but these are the various major themes the policy had described. This is the institutions which we have to take it forward and elaborate upon it. And the last point, which I think is regarding the effectiveness of online programs, or if we say the quality assurance, that is laying down the standards. So I thought very briefly, all of you must have read it. There are other issues also regarding higher education, online learning and so on. But these are the main points which the new policy, which has come out just day before, talks about. I thought it will be of interest to all of you. Now, another point which the policy talks about, that is the use of technology. Again, this is from the Ministry of Information and Technology, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. What they have talked, the new policy has talked about use of technology. So where do they want to use the technology in? Educational planning, teaching, learning, assessment, administration management. Majority of the whether you say formal universities or you say open universities, and even including your open university, you are using technology in administration and management. And then regulation. Second point which the policy talks about is increasing access for disadvantaged group. Very important point, I think the policy has discussed, Divang friendly education software, which till now we were not discussing, we were not describing, and this was lacking in our system. E-content in regional languages, wow. So all your material, I'm sure it is still there, all your material is in Assamese. So even the videos are in Assamese, even the audio programs are in Assamese. I know I'm taking more time. Virtual labs, okay, they have talked. Another important point they have talked about is that they will have a national education technology forum, which will be giving maybe more broader guidelines. And then they said that equip the schools, teachers, and students digitally. So this is what, in brief, the new policy talks about. Now coming to my last slide. I thought, let me just give you a little what is an effective online and what are the parameters. Nisha makes better concept maps and maybe others also make, but I have not seen, so I'm taking the name of Nisha because she makes good concept maps. So let's say in the middle we have this effective online learning, which was the theme. So these are the main parameters: teachers, assessment, technology, course structure, administration, pedagogy, and collaboration. So if you are making a policy, or if you as an individual also, if you are designing a course, just keep these points in your mind. And these are not exhaustive. You can add many. I have just added a few which are indicative. But if you are designing, because the university is going to launch online programs, and last time also we said, and the university promised that they will be doing it by the 2021. So just keep this in mind. Don't have, you have to wait for the policy to be given by UGC or MHRD. Just each one of us can keep these points in mind. So that these are the parameters: teachers, assessment, and so on. So let's talk about the teachers. Very important, because all of you are making the online programs. Training is important, done. पहले एक training लिया, now you have undergone the second training. So this is, the university will support you in building your capacities. Many times, and I know many universities, they talk about the workload. कि online पहले जब हम print बनाते थे, I'm sorry, I'm talking in Hindi. So whenever we used to make the print material, then teachers used to say, oh, there is so much of workload, we cannot do it. The print material requires, one unit requires 9, 8, 10, 12, 1 year, 2 months to prepare. So now people, they have started, the teachers, they have started talking about that when we develop online programs, there is a lot of workload. So yes, maybe. Then teachers need support services. It is not one single teacher's job. So to make an online program. So similarly, if we talk about the pedagogical issues, which you have discussed in the 3 days, when you develop an online program, how do you engage with your learners? This is the most important aspect of an online course. Engagement of the learners. It's not that you will say, okay, in formal universities, whether you are doing it or not, in distance education, whether you are doing it or not, but in online learning, it is very important. And if you see, there are lots of dropouts in online learning. Why? Because we are not able to engage with the learner. So when you design your online program, you have to keep this in mind. Engage your learners. You have to see the learning environment. The whole learning environment when you are making is very, very important. It has to be student-centered. You can add more here. I'm just listed a few points. Administrative, all of you know, this is another area where everyone keeps fighting that, okay, I have sent the proposal has to go to the head of the department, head of the department will send to vice chancellor will send to maybe the SWAYAM coordinator, and so on and so forth. That becomes an issue. Approval of the programs. Which program to be approved? Certificate or a diploma or a degree or a skill, and so on and so forth. Admissions. So these are certain points of the concepts within the they are the sub-concepts which need, and if we take care of all these points, I'm sure you will build up an effective online learning. But the last point which I will just touch upon is another important aspect is the course structure. Course structure, many of the online programs you must have seen, they have a simple text. These days, many online programs, they have just the videos, no text. NPTEL material, only videos, right? So how are we making? Because you are going to be in this business of launching online programs, what should be your course structure? What should be your course navigation? What should be a technology? So all these things, these are, again, I repeat, these are very, very indicative. But you don't need to wait for any policy. Keep this in mind. make your own concept in the university, keep all these points, add more points in front of it, and then you will have an effective online learning or an effective online course. So with this, my last slide is just rejoice yourself with designing your courses, online courses, and I wish each one of you all the best. With this, I stop sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have very nicely elaborated in gist whatever we have learned in these 3 days, and also added many new points which we have, I think, we skipped. And you have also highlighted so nicely the national policy of education that is in 2020, what the online learning system will be, what are the points you should be. You have highlighted very nicely, and we are very much thankful to get such a valuable speech from you. I think all of us are very, very much thankful to you, and thank you so much, ma'am. And with this, I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to give his valuable comments on the workshop. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. In fact, I always happily join this kind of meetings. When especially this last session, I'm joining not to speak anything, but just to say thank you to Madhu and Nisha, because they are so nice of them that they have been helping us for last 2-3 months always. So in fact, we also feel, and they also realize that due to lockdown, you know, this online activities, webinars, workshop, the frequency has increased, and we have organized too many, in fact. So if you count, you know, in the number, and probably you'll find the KPMG Open University has probably organized the maximum workshops and webinars during the last 3 months. So, which has prompted me to write a message to our faculty WhatsApp group yesterday. Enough of webinars and workshop. Now concentrate yourself to LMS. So yesterday there is a point when why I wrote that, because we had, I think, 4 workshops, around 25 webinars, and we have a conference, international conference, and we have learned a lot. Now it's time to implement those. We have already had a training, technical training of our LMS for a week. So technically training we had pedagogical training, we had instructional design training, all kinds of things we have done. Now I'm going to press my colleagues to implement those things, whatever they have done now in practical aspects. I think when I joined in March, the faculty members, my colleagues, they are very enthusiastic. You know, maybe probably a person who has experience in open distance learning will be very good. You know, we can do a lot. Now probably they might be cursing me because I am giving them so much work. You know, they probably will be cursing. You know, in fact, I have scheduled one more meeting at 4:30 immediately after this workshop. I wanted to talk to my faculty members that we have finished the training now. Now it's time to start working, practical. So I'll not speak for much. So I thank once again Madhu, Parhad, and Nisha, because you have done a lot, and I believe now we'll get the result. So we'll make a break for some time, for a few days, maybe 1 or 2 months. No training. Now definitely we'd like to have a review meeting, definitely. And Nisha, Madhu, and also Maitri, all of you, we have trained our faculty members to a large extent, and definitely after 1 or 2 months, let them do some work, and we'll definitely have a review meeting, and you will just give our comment, you know, what quality material, how we could do, whether it is okay, whether we can do better, you know, some kind of review will do. I wish those review can be, face-to-face mode. I wish, but I don't know what happened. If not, then definitely we'll have it online again. So thank you very much once again. And I from my side, I assure you that you have put a lot of effort in training my faculty members. I assure you that I will make them work, and they also definitely will cooperate with me and translate those training into a real results of for the academic program of KPMG Open University. So once again, thank you very much, and thank you. It's in fact it's a Pranab actually who is behind this workshop. He has organized a meeting. He has planned, not me. I'm just giving you approval because Vice Chancellor only gives approval. It's faculty members who are the brain behind everything, and they do everything. So Madhu has given me the credit, but actually credit goes to Pranab. So thank you once again. Thank you very much. We'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks so much.
Finally, I request Dr. Pranab Saikia to offer his formal vote of thanks. Dr. Pranab Saikia. Are you there, Dr. Pranab Saikia?
Hello.
Yes, yes.
So at the very outset, I propose my vote of thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. I must mention a deep sense of gratitude and thanks for his inspiring mentoring in the planning, designing, and organizing this particular workshop. And I do hope this workshop will help the fulfilling our collective dream of making this university a digital one. I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Madhu Madam, Professor Nisha Madam for kindly accept our invitation and grace the occasion and delivered so valuable words for all the participants. I offer my sincere thanks to all participants, especially friends from Malaysia, friends from Bangladesh Open University, Karnataka Open University, Bardhaman Mahavir Open University, Netaji Subhas Open University, YCMOU, Uttarakhand Open University, and friends from IGNOU. And all our academic counselors, our faculty members, and other participants who are coming from Dibrugarh University distance branch and other faculty members to participate enthusiastically and actively in this particular workshop. I take this opportunity to offer my sincere thanks to our director, Dr. Vipul Das, who is always supportive to organizing such kind of activities. And also I offer my sincere thanks to two persons. One is our Binud Dekha, system analyst, and Dr. Nabankur Pathak. These two fellows are very silent workers who provide us all logistic support to make impossible possible by providing digital platform and also constantly supporting with their team. So I offer my sincere thanks to all who are directly and indirectly involved in this workshop. Thank you all. And last, I wish you all secure and safe present and a prosperous academic future. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye, Professor Kanwar Das, and bye to all of you.
Thank you, madam. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.